Hey, welcome back. This is Sonny Ahuja, and now we start the really fun part, website copywriting. I want you to, for a second now, think on everything that we talked about in content strategy video, how your search phrases should be laser focused. You should be able to define your target audience, the area that you're targeting with your landing pages. If you already have a set of questions, problems, or maybe objections that your prospects may have in mind, because you can use those in your copywriting. Keep in mind, the copy on your landing pages is the most important part of your entire website and SEO strategy. Now, here's what Marieke, CEO of Yoast, says. SEO copywriting is both a key element and a big challenge in every SEO strategy. As search engines crawl web pages, the content of your website should be fine-tuned to the ever-changing algorithms of search engines. In addition to that, you should write clearly so that your audience both enjoys and understands your website. After all, we know that readability ranks. And I say it just doesn't rank, but it also helps increase conversions and generate leads. Okay. So I always want you to keep this in mind. Whether you're writing content yourself for your website or you hire somebody or someone in your office, always think conversions while you're writing the content. Always think that what you're writing, will that help a person pick up the phone and call you or email you or get in touch with you? Because unless your prospects get in touch with you, you're not getting any new business. You're not going to increase your business revenue or profits. So make sure when you write, you think of people first, as if you're writing to a person and not for getting your website on page one. So write for your prospects and not Google. Now, if you follow the strategies and the instructions of this program, your website will automatically rank high in search engines. But the idea behind ranking is not just the ranking itself. The idea behind it is to get more business. Now, we build websites for businesses, especially in disaster restoration, remodeling, roof repair, and so forth. Now, in past 10 years, we've built many websites. We've built sites for disaster restoration companies, roof repair businesses, cleaning companies, plumbing companies, and many more. We also manage their pay-per-click and search engine optimization campaigns. So one thing people often ask me when it comes to SEO, they're like, Sonny, what kind of keyword density we should have on our landing pages? So here's what Brian Clark, founder and CEO of Copyblogger, says. The only way to tell if your repetition of keywords is super or spammy is to measure that frequency against the overall length of the content. A keyword density greater than 5.5% could make you guilty of keyword stuffing and your page could be penalized by Google. You don't need to mindlessly repeat keywords to optimize. In fact, if you do, you're likely to achieve the opposite result. And I completely agree with him. We have tested hundreds of landing pages. Anytime we try to over-optimize them, they don't rank that well. So, of course, Brian says 5.5%. I would say to keep it on the safe side, don't go over 3% when it comes to keyword density on your landing pages. Because besides just the keywords on the landing pages or in the content itself, there's a whole lot of other factors as well that Google takes into consideration for your website rankings. And as you go through this program, you'll find many of them. For example, headlines, subheadings, meta tags, your website loading speed, and so forth. So keyword density is important, but not the only factor in your search engine rankings. Here's another important thing that you must keep in mind, because I do see this on websites where people are just making claims left, right, and center that don't make any sense. So once again, here's a quote from David Ogilvy. He says, "Don't insult your audience's intelligence. The consumer isn't a moron. She's your wife. You insult her intelligence if you assume that a mere slogan and a few vapid adjectives will persuade her to buy anything. She wants all the information you can give her. In other words, any claims that you make on your website, make sure they're all true. If you can, put the source next to the claims you make or any facts that you share, any data that you share. If you can put source next to the facts, that would be perfect. You can link to the pages of the other websites as well, but if you don't want to, that's fine. But anytime you make a claim or you share a fact, it's always a good practice to share the source of the fact. For example, if you mention on your landing page, mold can be deadly, then you should link it to a page that actually proves your claim. Okay? So don't insult your audience's intelligence. As you start to write, make sure you think local. In other words, mention the cities that you provide services in, because Google then can pick up those cities and put that in its database. Now, you don't have to mention each and every single city on each and every single page of your website either. But let's say if you're writing about one of your main services, it's a good practice to add your local cities or the cities you provide services in on the bottom of that page. You can also do this on the About Us page of your website, where you can list every single city that you provide services in, or eventually, if you can, then have an independent landing page for each of the major city you provide services in, because then you can optimize that landing page not just for the service, but also for that city itself, which will help you rank it high, especially in mobile devices. As you write for your website, for your landing pages, make sure the content you are adding to your website adds value. Okay? It's not about you. You don't have to write half a page just telling about how great your business is, how many awards you have, what kind of expensive equipment you have, and so forth. Make it about them. Make the content about your prospects. And don't forget, if people find value in the landing pages of your website or an article or a blog post, they will share it with others as well. So that will also help you get free traffic that may convert into business. So besides SEO rankings, it'll also help you get more free visitors to your website. Okay? The information that you share on your website must be accurate. Don't just make things up. Like I said before, if you're using any facts, if you're using any data, if you're making any claims, make sure you add the source of that information, wherever you got that information from. Also, make sure that the content on your website is original, which means it's not something that is rewritten from another website. Don't pay anyone who will spin an article for you using a software. And never ever copy paste article from another website and put it on your own. Even if that site is in a different city, different part of the world, doesn't matter. Make sure that the content on your landing pages is original, it's written by humans. In fact, it should be written in a professional way by a professional, if possible. Now, if you decide to do it yourself or someone in your office, that's okay. But make sure it's professionally written, which means there's no punctuation mistakes, there's no grammatical mistakes, and it makes sense. Because two things will happen if the content is not written professionally or if it has mistakes. One, the users on your website will not have a good experience and they'll leave the website. And two, even Google frowns upon landing pages that have mistakes on them. So your website will not rank high if there are too many mistakes on the landing page of your website. Okay, so make sure either you hire somebody or do it yourself the right way. Now, also make sure that the content you're writing is hyper relevant to the key phrases that you are working with. If you're targeting mold inspection, for instance, then the landing page should talk about mold inspection. If you are targeting carpet cleaning services, then stay with carpet cleaning services on that page. Don't start getting into upholstery, rug cleaning, HVAC, air duct cleaning, and so forth. Don't start writing paragraph about every single service that you provide. Keep the landing page laser targeted, highly relevant to the search phrase that you're trying to optimize it for. And not just target search phrases, your content should also be hyper relevant to your audience that you're targeting. Is it homeowners? Is it business owners? Are you trying to get residential jobs or are you trying to get commercial work? The landing page needs to talk to your audience, whoever that might be. Add stories if you can in your website content. For example, maybe you provide roof repair services and you met somebody who was declined or denied insurance claim previously, but then you helped them claim insurance so they could get a new roof in their house. Okay? You don't have to mention their full name or address, but you can always tell that story, how it all happened. Maybe you provide stain removal services and you saved someone's $100,000 rug by removing a stain from it. And so maybe that person, besides paying you for your services, bought you a bottle of wine or lunch or something. So if you've been in business long enough, you must have a lot of stories of how your customers felt great after you provided a service to them, when you provided a service at their property. So see if you can write those stories in your landing pages. Because we all know people like stories, right? So see if you can do that. How about some humor? I don't watch TV much, but every time I do, when I see the ads, most of them have some kind of humor in them, which clearly means that humor attracts attention. So is there a way you can add some humor to your landing pages? Now you don't have to try and add jokes or make it too funny. It should still be relevant to your business, but it does help people stay on your landing pages longer. So see if you can add humor to your landing pages, to the content, your blog posts as well. Maybe the videos that you make in the future, maybe the videos that you make for your business, you can add humor in them as well. See, think about it. Talk to your writers, talk to your team, talk to your technicians, and see how you can add humor to your landing pages. Now include facts, but where are you getting your facts from? With resources. Now see if you can establish an authority or credibility as you write, or you write as an authority figure in your industry, in your city. Maybe you've been in business for 20 years and you can say something like, our 20 years experience tell us the best way to X, and that X can be the best way to deal with insurance companies, the best way to claim insurance, the best way to remove black mold from a home or a restaurant for that matter. Or maybe you provide a basement waterproofing services and you have already done that for 2,000 homes. Then you can always say, after a waterproofing over 2,000 basements, here's what we've learned. The best way to and X, right? That establishes authority. Waterproofing 2,000 basements adds credibility. Maybe you can add some white papers, some testimonials, checklists, or even an ebook in your website that'll establish you as an authority, because this will increase the conversion rates from your landing pages. So as your website increases in its rankings, it also increases the amount of leads that it's producing for you. Add comparisons if you can. For example, the different products you use to clean carpets, to clean upholstery, or maybe you have equipment to clean rugs that nobody else has in your area. Or maybe you're a business that has been running for last 30 years, and then you can mention all the experience that you have. Maybe between 2 or 3 people in your office, you have a combined experience of 70 years. So you can add that and compare it to other businesses, similar businesses in your area. You don't have to mention their names. You could just say, hey, we're the only business in X city that has been providing this service for over 45 years, or whatever the number is. But when you mention your products are superior, when you mention you have more experience, or when you mention that the equipment that you use is latest, is advanced, then that helps again increase the conversions from your landing pages, from your website. Mention benefits of the products or services that you provide, of the experience you have. Just like they say in car sales industry, don't mention features, mention benefits. So same thing. People don't want to know the features of the equipment you have that you use to fix their problems, but the benefit it brings. How about a detailed FAQ page on your website? You already know that Google shows exactly what kind of questions people are asking. You also know when you do a keyword search with other search tools, you'll see a lot of questions that people are asking. Well, have a detailed page on those questions and write answers to them. So it's not just one or two or three questions that come to your mind, but it's exactly coming from what the data shows you, what people are searching for. For example, if you go back to keyword everywhere, so let's say if we Google mold removal, and now you'll see the plugin will start showing all these questions. How to remove mold from painted walls, how to remove mold from unfinished wood, how to get rid of mold spores in the air, how to get rid of white mold on wood, how to get rid of mold in basement. See, all these questions that you already know how to get, what kills black mold? Can you clean up mold yourself? All these questions can go on the FAQ page of your website. And that was just an example. It doesn't matter which service you provide. I've said that before. You can always find questions related to all your services. And then, of course, you can have a page like this on your website. Now, also keep this in mind. As voice search continues to grow, you want to make sure that you use phrases and language that is easy for, Siri or Alexa or Google to understand so they can forward the information to their customers. You have to keep in mind that voice search is only going to grow. More and more people are talking to their phones, more and more people are talking to their computers, even their cars now. And when they talk, they're usually asking questions. It's a different thing when you search on internet, when you search on Google, but when you talk to Alexa, it's more like asking questions. So do keep that in mind as you write for your website. See if there's a way you can add what's happening around you in some way on your website, or you write related to what's happening around you for your website. For example, right now on every single news channel, they just talk about COVID-19, right? Coronavirus. So you may not be providing disinfectant or sanitization services, but you can always add that to your landing page. For example, roof repair during lockdown. And then you can mention that our technicians always wear masks, they always wear gloves. We practice social distancing. We only do electronic invoicing, so we don't give you anything physical by hand. We make sure we stay 6 feet away at least when you're at your property. Same thing if you provide any other service, carpet cleaning, upholstery, plumbing services, you can always mention that you practice social distancing, you wear gloves, masks, and so forth. So while you're using the search phrase roof repair or carpet cleaning, so you can get your website on page one, at the same time, you're also working on its conversion rates by letting your prospects know that you follow CDC guidelines. Okay, so they feel comfortable having you in their house, having your technicians in their house or their office. You can also use Google Alerts and see what's going on in your industry, or if there's anything in the news that's related to your business, that's related to the services you provide. For example, let's say you're in Chicago and you provide water damage restoration services, and Chicago just announced 2 weeks of lockdown. So you can have a page that says water damage restoration services in Chicago area during lockdown, and then optimize that page for water damage restoration services. You can use the city of Chicago and the other suburbs that you provide services in and mention all of them on that page. So now not only are you optimizing your landing page for SEO, you're also letting your prospects know that you're still open for business and you're still providing those emergency services. Also, keep an eye on your competitors, see what they are doing, not so that you can copy from them, but so you can do better than them, right? See what kind of keywords are they using, what kind of word count do they have on a landing page. Let's say if one of your competitors are ranking well, maybe their website is on page one of Google under one of the search phrases that you would like to be on page one on. Then see how many words do they have on their landing pages. Maybe they wrote a landing page that ranks high for 750 words. Well, then you can always write 1,000 words or 1,200 word count content for the landing page with similar service. See if they use different kind of fonts, if they use what their offer is, what kind of experience and products they are showing off. Because all these things matter for search engine optimization. Of course, conversions, yes, but even for SEO, because you want to make sure you have enough information on your landing pages. When people come to your website, when your prospects come to your website, they have enough content to consume. It could be your, of course, headline, subheadings, the paragraphs. In between, there might be a video that you may add so they can watch that video and get to know more about you and your services and your products and your offers and so forth. So make sure that you can. So make sure you try your best for your prospects to spend more time on your website, on your landing pages, because that will also help you rank high, besides, of course, generating more leads. And finally, don't forget call to action at the end of the page. I'll repeat it again because people forget. Maybe you have an offer that you can add with call to action, like if you provide water damage restoration or basement waterproofing services, then you can offer a free battery backup to your clients. Maybe 100% satisfaction or it's free. We have a client that provides carpet cleaning services. In fact, different kinds of cleaning services like carpet, upholstery, air duct cleaning, and so forth. Right now, he's booked about 3 weeks ahead. Okay. And one of his irresistible offer is the most thorough carpet cleaning you've ever had, or it's free. See? Now, when people read that, they definitely want to call him, talk to him, and then, of course, many of them hire him. That's why he's booked 3 weeks in advance. So see if you can add a call to action with an irresistible offer, which then again, of course, helps your conversion rates. And finally, here's an advanced strategy. If you provide services in an area which is, let's say, has a large population of Hispanics, then of course, you can always use these pages and get them translated into Spanish and put them on your website. Most likely, none of your competition is doing that. And these things don't cost that much money. You can always find someone on Fiverr, on Freelancer, on Upwork, but Fiverr is good enough where you can put a project, have some of your pages translated into Spanish, and put them on your website. Or any other language for that matter. If you feel there's another language that may help in your area, then you can definitely do that. Whether it's French, German, Spanish, whichever language you feel is going to help you increase rankings. Because don't forget, if the Spanish page of your website gets on page one of Google, then it'll also pull the other pages of your website on front page of Google. It's like a domino effect. If one page starts to rank higher, then it's going to help you bring the second page, the third page, and so forth. So slowly you'll see more and more pages, more and more blog posts, more and more landing pages start to rank high in Google. So if your competitors don't have pages in other languages on your website, then you can be one of the first ones to start doing that. Okay. And like I said, you can put a project on Fiverr. It's not going to cost that much. So what I shared with you in this video, remember, is very important. The copy on your landing pages, the copy on your blog posts help you rank high. Okay. And it also helps you convert your visitors into customers. You have to keep both in mind, not just Google and not just your prospects, but both. So write in such a way that your website ranks on page one, and when people find it, they become your customers. Okay, so I'm sure you've made a lot of notes. Go through them again and see if you would like to outsource writing for your website, or if you would like to have someone in your office do it. But make sure you let them know how they're supposed to do it. Even if you outsource it, make sure you give them the right instructions. Otherwise, they will not know this. Okay? So I'm sure that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video now.